Shalom, shalom, shalom. How's everybody doing?
Shalom.
All right, it's good to be back. We took an extra week off to make sure that we have everything prepared. Just sort of deal with some things in the spirit before we came for you all with today's lesson.
That's right.
This we went into in the previous week. We went into talking specifically about the end times, and what that looks like, the trials to the kingdom. And this is going to be the conclusion, the second part of that particular lesson, the trials and the things that we would endure. What would we see? What does the world look like as we come to the end of Esau's kingdom? Right now, first and foremost, we would like to give all thanks and praise to the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya, Warawak. For those who do not speak the Hebrew, that is the Most High, Christ, and the Holy Spirit spoken in the Hebrew. I am Bishop Taz, here with the elder of the ministry, Elder Nathanya Allah Yashar Allah of the House of Judah International Fellowship Church. Once again, we would like to remind you all to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the lessons. And if this ministry has blessed you in any way, if you're baptized into the ministry, please, this is the Cash App to send your tithes, donations. If the ministry has blessed you, helped you in any way, we greatly appreciate it. All the money is used towards doing this work. It is not free. So we appreciate all your contributions and your help as well. We also have our website right here below us, houseofjudahfellowship.org, where we have all of our lessons, what the ministry is about, the doctrines that we teach. So we have that down there as well. We also have our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram pages for you to get updates and everything there as well. We'll also like to shout out our brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone, our ministry, House of Judah Sierra Leone, and our brothers and sisters following in the Philippines, in Australia, and all across the world. We appreciate you all. And hopefully we'll be, if it be the Most High's, we'll be seeing you all very, very soon. All right. So going into what we were talking about specifically last week, talking about protecting yourself and why it is that you should protect yourself. And today we're going to go into that a little bit more in depth and showing what exactly does this, what exactly does the world we're going into look like, right? And there's a lot of different things, a lot of different ideas as to what that is. We talked about that earlier in last lesson, just to sort of get people's idea of what this world that we're going to be going into looks like and what the people will endure. And and I don't think a lot of brothers and sisters understand the depth of the magnitude of what it is that's coming. And today's lesson will shore that up. One thing that I would like to point out is what the Spirit of Christ looks like today. I want people to understand what that means. The Spirit of Christ, right? Is the Spirit of Christ noticed by the way you look, the way you allow yourself to be perceived, or by your actions? The way you look, the way you allow yourself to be perceived, or by your actions, right? Christ, through his ministry and through his apostles, laid out what someone who possesses the Spirit of Christ looks like and what the actions of someone who possesses the Spirit of Christ looks like. And why is this important? Why is the Spirit important? Because it is that Spirit that will allow people to see and discern who you are in these times that we're going into. I'm going to say that again. In these times, if you have the ability to blend in, if you're blending in these times, you do not have the Spirit of Christ. We're going to see why as we go into this lesson further. Let's start with Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9.
Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9. And he said, "Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not."
You hear me, but you don't understand what I'm saying. You don't understand the depth or the magnitude of what I'm trying to tell you. Read.
And see ye indeed, but perceive not.
But you perceive not. You see it, but you don't understand it. There's things in this world that we look at, right? I said a little while ago, I made a post that said, we allow our perception to shape reality instead of allowing reality to shape our perception. And the reason why people see and don't perceive is because they're allowing their perception to shape reality instead of reality shaping your perception. This is why people can't see. People continue over and over again to say, well, I believe this or I believe that, not realizing it's not about what you believe. The Most High doesn't care what you believe. You can believe whatever you want, but his word does not come back void because of your unbelief.
That's right.
I'm firing out like a cannon today. Because what people in this time have to understand, is that the Most High's word does not come back void. What you choose to believe is what you choose to believe, but understand the Most High's word does not come back void because of your unbelief. It's going to come to pass. Don't allow your perception to shape reality. Allow your reality to shape perception. And in this time that we're going into, you won't be blindsided. Because there's a lot of people that are going to be blindsided by what's coming. But the crazy part is they saw it coming all along. They're going to be getting on the phone like, hey, bro, I remember what you said. So what am I supposed to do next? It's like, nah, you were given a word a long time ago, brother. Decisions were made on your part that can't be undone. No one in this room, no one in this ministry, no one outside this ministry is perfect. But understand, there are consequences for every action in this time. And that consequence could be, might be, will be eventually death. Whether you believe that or not. Now, why am I emphasizing this so early in the lesson? Because this is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. If you believe that our God is not what he says he is. The Most High says he's a what? A man of war. If you don't believe that, this lesson is going to make you very, very, very uncomfortable. It's going to make you very uncomfortable. Understand, the scriptures say what? The wages of sin is what?
Death.
The wages of sin is what?
Death.
Was he lying? Is the Most High a man that he should lie?
No.
It's always been death.
It's always been death. Before Christ, it was death. After Christ, it was death. Death is still the wage for sin. No matter what you decide to believe, no matter what you want to believe, no matter what you want to understand, whatever you allow your perception to be, understand reality. The wages of sin is death. And with that understanding, when you make a mistake, when you slip, when you fall, understand there's something that you have to do. It's called repentance, going before the Most High. All of our righteousness together is as filthy rags. You think the Most High doesn't understand that? But in this time that we're in, it's important that we put our hands to the plow and don't look back. As we get into the crux of this lesson, remember, like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure that brothers and sisters come in here to get this word. All right, let's get verse 10.
Verse 10. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes.
This is called the itis, is what we call it in the black community. You know how it is when you eat a lot? You sit there, you eat, your eyes get heavy, your ears get heavy, you just can't really focus on nothing. You just, oh, Lord have mercy. Most High said, Isaiah says, make the heart of this people fat, make their ears heavy, shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, read.
And hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert.
And convert and what?
And be healed.
Convert and be healed. Why? Because there's healing that comes with the knowledge of this truth. Healing shows that there's disease. Healing shows that there's hurt. Healing shows that there's pain. What comes with sin? Hurt, pain, disease. These are all things that are removed when you're converted. Why? The Most High said that he's cast a deep sleep upon the people. That because they rejected truth, he turned them over to what? A reprobate mind. This is what Isaiah is talking about here. The reprobate mind. Read.
Verse 11. Then said I, Lord, how long?
How long? How long will these people be turned over to a reprobate mind? Read.
And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant.
Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant. Read.
And the houses be without man.
And the houses be without man. Read.
And the land be utterly desolate.
Go ahead and put up that thumbnail again, Otis, so that people can see what we're talking about here. And we're going to start from verse 11 to allow people to see this. Then I said, what? Verse 11?
Then I said, Lord, how long?
Mm-hmm.
And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant.
Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant. Read.
And the houses without man.
And the houses without man. Read.
And the land be utterly desolate.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord remove men far away.
Mm-hmm.
And there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land.
This is the end result. This is what the world will look like as it comes to an end. Read.
Verse 13. But yet in it shall be a tenth, and in it shall return,
Mm-hmm.
and shall be eaten, as the teil tree,
Mm-hmm.
as an oak,
Mm-hmm.
whose substance is in them,
Mm-hmm.
when they cast their leaves. So the holy seed shall be in the substance thereof.
So shall the holy seed be in the substance thereof. A tenth will remain in this time. What does that mean? This is a tenth of the earth's population. That's what will remain. No rapture took the other nine parts. Wasn't the rapture. Promise you that. Isaiah is speaking to the Most High about a dual purpose prophecy. This pertains to the fall of Israel in 70 AD at the hands of the Romans, as well as the fall of Babylon that we are seeing today. Remember, Babylon the Great is fallen. Right? How is it possible for the children of Israel living in such a time as these to become spoiled and deaf and blind to the truth? We read in scripture that the Most High has cast a deep sleep upon the children of Israel and upon those who have rejected the truth of the Most High, thus being turned over to a reprobate mind. The how of our people being made fat, deaf, and blind and dumb, we must discuss later. That we'll get to later. How these people became the way that they did in their mind, how the reprobate mind came, we'll discuss later. But it's these kind of people that will cause for Christ to tell his disciples to sell their garments and buy a sword. Mm-hmm. It's these people with the reprobate mind that Christ says, hey, sell your garment, buy a sword. These people are dangerous. They're dangerous. Isaiah is highlighting the nature of the men and women who will be eliminated in the wilderness, all the way down to the 10% that would be left of the righteous who will take it, who will make it back to the land. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7. Let's get a precept on that.
Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Awake, O sword, against my shepherd.
Awake, oh what?
O sword, against my shepherd.
Read.
And against the man that is my fellow,
Mm-hmm.
saith the Lord of hosts.
Mm-hmm.
Smite the shepherd,
Mm-hmm.
and the sheep shall be scattered.
Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. Read.
And I will turn mine hand upon the little ones.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8. And it will come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
So this is in the wilderness. He says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, the Most High says, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, and a third shall be left therein. So out of the entire Earth's population, there will only be 1/3 left. This is the 10th that Isaiah is talking about. Read.
Verse 9. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined.
He's perfecting them, read.
And I will try them as gold is tried.
He's perfecting them through what? Fire. That's trial. He's perfecting them through trial by fire. Read.
They shall call on my name.
They shall call on what?
My name.
So no, they're not going to be all calling on different names. Those, that 1/3 who makes it will be they who know the name of the Most High in Christ. Read.
They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. And I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, the Lord is my God.
And they shall say, the Lord is my God. The Most High will destroy 2/3 of those who dwell in the earth in these last days, until only 1 part remains. How many people live on this earth, do they say? 7.3, 7.4 billion? 2/3. 2/3. The 144,000 that are designated leaders over the final population of the earth will know the Most High's name. And because they know the Most High's name, the Most High will hear them. However, we must be tried first as gold. What does this trial look like? What does this trial look like? 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 17.
2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 17. Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days?
Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Read.
Verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and of mournings.
The beginning of sorrows and mournings. Read.
The beginning of famine and great death.
The beginning of what?
Famine and great death.
Famine and great death. Famine and great death. Read.
The beginning of wars.
The beginning of wars. Read.
And the powers shall stand in fear.
Read.
The beginning of evils.
The beginning of evils. Read.
What shall I do when these evils shall come?
What shall I do when these evils shall come? Ezra is seeing the vision that the Most High is sending him about these last days, and he's saying, Lord, have mercy, how can I make it through this? All of this death. Remember, Christ talked about the beginning of sorrows in Matthew chapter 24. We have a lesson entitled The Beginning of Sorrows, where we broke this down. This, what Esdras is doing here is he's breaking down what Christ would later tell his disciples in Matthew chapter 24. When they ask, how will they know the end? Christ said, you'll know the end by the beginning of sorrows. Verse 19.
Verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for the amendment.
Scourges is a person or thing that causes much pain. A scourge is a person or thing that causes much pain. So read that again with the understanding of what a scourge is. Behold.
Behold, famine and plague.
Famine and plague. What is a plague? A plague is a disease. Read.
Tribulation and anguish.
Tribulation and anguish. Famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are what?
Are sent as scourges for the amendment.
They're sent as pain. They're inflicting pain upon the people in these last times. Famine, plague, tribulation, anguish. Notice that word famine keeps coming up. Why does this word famine keep coming up? We're going to see. We're going to see. The beginning of sorrows. Read.
Verse 20. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness.
Even through all of this pain being inflicted, there will be those who do not turn from their wickedness. See the stiff-necked ways of man? Read.
Nor be always mindful of the scourges.
They forget. How do you forget while pain is being inflicted upon you? That's like being tortured and you forget that you're being tortured. You're sitting there, You up here thinking that you at Thanksgiving dinner or something while you're being tormented. There will be people going through torment, seeing death on all sides of them. People who are sinning, falling by death, and still not perceive that is the work of the Most High. How many of you in here know that the Most High is a man of war? We read it in Deuteronomy 19. The Most High was ready to take out the entire children of Israel in the wilderness when they built the two molten images. But this is a God that we don't think inflicts death? The same God who created a hell doesn't inflict death? The same God who put the curse of death on Adam and Eve doesn't inflict death? People. People. Why am I making sure that I hammer this in? Because people have been desensitized to death. The only reason why one can believe that our God would not judge people with death are people who have been desensitized to death. We're seeing death all around us. Family members dropping like flies out of nowhere. Friends dropping like flies out of nowhere. Friends' family dropping like flies out of nowhere. But our minds are shut off to it. And Christians have the nerve to say, we're going to be raptured. God wouldn't destroy anyone. When we're looking at the judgment of the Most High in front of us every day. This is what the Most High is telling Ezra. He says, nor always be mindful of the scourges, of the pain, or of the instrument inflicting the pain. Read.
Verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case.
Everything that you want is still available to you. Now. Well, I can still go to Walmart and get me that big bag of Cheetos, so I think that I don't see no famine. The Cheetos still on the shelf. I can still get my favorite brand of a Little Debbie. There's no food shortage. It's impossible. There's no way. But at the same time, the Most High wouldn't inflict death. And that same person, we asked him about the plague that's going around the earth right now. It's killing so many people. So many people are dying. And at the same time, they would say, look at all them people all over the earth starving. People in South America starving. It's like, but you said there's no famine. He said there's no famine. It says that victuals shall be so good and cheap upon the earth, they shall think themselves to be in good case. We thought we was good. Now we're seeing them gas prices rise. We seeing that can of soup, that bag of ramen that used to be. Hey, anybody seen them bottles of them Arizona iced teas? They used to be 99¢. Look at them now. Through everything, through hell and high water, them Arizonas was 99¢. Now them things 129. People like, oh Lord, the world is ending. Hey, listen. The time has come. We thought we were in good case because victuals were so good and cheap. I can still go and get this. I can still go and get that. I can still go and do this. I can still go and do that. What did the Most High say about Christ's return? What did he say about the end? He says, it shall be as in the days of Noah. Everyone was marrying, giving in marriage. They were doing things as they had always done them, as if the world would continue forever. And then the flood came and took them all away. He said they shall think to themselves to be in good case. Read.
And even then shall evils grow upon the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Sword,
murder,
famine, and great confusion.
The Most High has been sending messages to this earth as a warning for them to turn away from their wickedness, yet they do not because they perceive it not. Remember, your reality shapes perception, but in today's society, people allow their perception to shape reality. This is why someone can look on the rainbow and say, yeah, Pride Month. Instead of looking on that rainbow and saying that's a sign that the Most High would destroy those same people who are celebrating Pride Month again. Why you can look on something so evident in its meaning and of its purpose and see it as any other thing. People allow their perception to shape reality, what they believe to shape their reality. Why? Why don't these people turn from their wickedness according to Ezra? For the same reason Isaiah brought up in chapter 6, verse 9. The people are made fat. Their ears are shut and their eyes are closed. The deep sleep was cast upon our people. See, the United States of America, Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, has done a really good job of making it seem as if nothing's going on, shielding the people from what's really going on, showing in the media, the world is great. We're pushing on strong. Then people see their president forgetting what he's talking about on live TV. We're still good. We're all good. The country is in good hands. Listen, they've done a really good job of hiding what's really going on in this country. Deep sleep. All these signs coming and people still don't it's going to go back to normal. Prices rise and go down all the time. Because we are in a 7-year plenteous period that we saw in the height of the Egyptian Empire, becoming rich has never been easier. Becoming so-called rich has never been easier. And at one point, goods were so cheap. People never prepared or thought that this would never end, that this would never come to an end, that plenteous would last forever. The Most High shows the prophet Ezra that in this period is this period that will soften the people, make them numb to the increasing levels of pain that will be brought by scourges. The more fat and happy you become, the more difficult it is for you to come to grips with that, with the fact that those things that made you fat and happy, you're losing. Why do people who are wealthy and have been wealthy for many generations, why can't they come to grips with the fact that they're bankrupt, that they have no money? Because they become numb. They don't know what it's like to struggle. They've never seen that before. What do you mean go from this 15-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom house? What are you talking about? That's impossible. How could I possibly live in that? Listen, brothers and sisters, don't be numb. What will follow this time of plenty is, with the increase of wickedness, famine, and murder and great confusion on many levels, including unrest and immorality. We are beginning to see this now. The housing market is slowly beginning to rise to historic highs. The famine has officially hit since the supposed beginning of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We're in the middle of so-called Pride Month in honor of the Sodomites who were previously destroyed through the flood. Is this world not coming to an end? People don't see this. People don't perceive. They perceive it not. Why do the people not perceive this? Because living in Babylon, we are masked in so many different ways. Food shortages, for example, are hidden mostly by the fact that the majority of the population eats artificial fast food 3 times a week. I'm sorry, but a strawberry Pop-Tart? Really? Ain't enough strawberries in the world, people. I'm sorry. Ain't enough strawberries in the world. They do. Hey, listen. Back in the day, I mean, they got the frosting on the top. The frosting has a gelatin in it, so you had to get them without the frosting now. But the things used to be busting. And with all this artificial food, everybody's like, "Oh man, I can." What do you mean a food shortage? I can go to Popeyes and get a chicken sandwich right now. Majority of Americans eat fast food 3 times a week. Rarely do they actually go to the store and see what's on the shelves. For this cause, people do not look at what's actually on the shelves or even what's available in fast food restaurants at sit-down restaurants to purchase. Trust me. Try to go and sit in the sit-down restaurant later in the day and see what they actually have. Nothing. Trust me. I know. It is becoming more and more difficult to find ingredients and to purchase ingredients. Trust me, I know. It is for these times that we must begin to arm ourselves not only with protection, physical protection, resources such as defense or money, most importantly, the full armor of the Most High. And we must be wise with the way that we prepare as well. And later in this lesson, we're going to see why. We're going to see why. Verse 22.
Verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine.
They shall what?
Perish of famine.
They shall perish of famine. Read.
And the other that escape the hunger, the sword shall destroy.
And for those who escape the hunger, they'll be murdered by the sword. 70 AD, people. During that time, there were bands of mischievous men when the Romans entrenched around Israel. And they took their weapons going door to door, house to house, looking for food. And they would murder those in the house. They'll say, nah, bro, you look a little too healthy right now not to be having no food somewhere in here. Where them Cheez-Its at? I know you got something up in here. You looking kind of, you got a little tug still on you, bro. You still got a little jiggle on you now. I know you got something in here. Going door to door. So if you escape the famine, believe they're coming for you. Read.
23. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them.
Desensitized. You're being desensitized to death to the point to where people no longer. How many funerals took place during the so-called pandemic? The dead were cast out as dung, burned. Think about that. A desensitization to death. People able to watch videos of a man being murdered, of a kid falling off of a ride. How can you watch that? I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch those videos. How can you watch something like that and be comfortable with it? Because there's a desensitization to death. When you watch movies, everything looks so graphic and real. When you play video games, everything looks so graphic and real. You're being desensitized to the idea of death. There's no more mourning. There's no more comforting of those who've lost. In this time, there's so much death. It's just become another thing. Read.
For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. 24.
That's not possible. The city's cast down. We're gonna get into detail as to what that looks like, of what the city's being cast down looks like. It says the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. Why? Read verse 24.
There shall be no man left to till the earth, and to sow it.
And to sow it, read.
The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them?
The population is so small. You got apple trees and mango trees producing fruit, but there's nobody there to go get them. You see that? It says there shall be no man left to till the earth. But don't worry, Most High doesn't kill people. Death is not a thing with our God. Our God doesn't do death. Read.
Verse 26. The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For the places shall be desolate of men.
Read that again.
The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all the places shall be desolate of men.
All places shall be desolate of men. See, much of the earth will die at the hands of either famine or murder by another person for the goods that they possess. Right? You would stand to believe or understand that if a person escapes famine, it's because they have food. Right? And it would stand to believe that if there's so little food that others who have food and know that another person has food, they would attempt to go get it. Right? As the population continues to decrease, we'll see the cities that we once knew taken by nature and filth from all the dead bodies that will be laid up. People will just a person dies, you just throw them outdoors. Boom. Hey, just throw the body out there. It'll decompose. Just throw it out there. There'll be no one left for the upkeep of the cities. Buildings will begin to fall apart. Trees will begin to grow through buildings. Nature reclaiming these cities. Now, when the scriptures talk about the land being desolate of men, this is where the scripture was saying that 7 women shall cleave unto one man. This is what this is talking about. Brothers try to say, oh yeah, see that means we can have multiple wives. We can have 7 wives if we want the last days. That's got nothing to do with it. These are women whose husbands are dead and need protection. That's why they said, we don't need anything that requires, listen, just allow us to be called by your name. Let us come under your hedge of protection. Right? Let us come under your hedge of protection. Right? So when we look at this time and what we see is happening according to this scripture, the Most High is showing us something. He's showing us reality. Now, what's interesting is how many people will allow their perception to shape that same reality. Everything. Can you believe that in this time, people will be seeing this and saying, don't worry, it's all going to blow over and go back to normal. We just got to wait for the Navy SEALs to come in and rescue us. And then it's all going to go back to normal. Can you believe that? Years pass of death and famine and destruction, and there will still be people saying, don't worry, guys. Someone's going to come to get us and everything is going to go back to normal. They know not that this is the end of times. Verse 27.
Verse 27. And so that one man shall desire to see another.
One man shall desire to see another. Read.
And to hear his voice.
Mm-hmm.
For of a city there shall be 10 left.
Of a city, 10 left. Read.
And 2 of the field.
And 2 of the field. Read.
Which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rock.
Why are they hiding? Why are these people hiding? It says that one man shall desire to see another. How many people in here seen the movie I Am Legend? This brother is like, listen, bro, where is people at? He saw somebody and started crying. Like, hold up. I thought I was the last one left out here. One of a city. 10, there shall be 10 left of a city and 2 left in the field. And those same people that are left are hiding. Why? Why are they hiding? We're going to get into that as well. There will be people who haven't made contact with another person in days, months, years, because it'll be so difficult to find them. Verse 29. How hard is it to find these people? Read.
Verse 29. As in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives.
Mm-hmm.
Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard.
What is he describing here? He's saying when you go through a grove, an orchard of olives, and you gather all the olives, there's still some left, even for those who look and diligently nitpick. You look at every vine, you look at every bulb to find every olive in that orchard, and still you miss 3 or 4. Or when you go through an entire vineyard and take up all the grapes, there are still some clusters left. You miss something. What is he describing here? What is Ezra describing here? Read.
Verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 31. Even so, those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Read that again.
Even so, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword.
That search their houses with the sword. Can somebody tell me here what the modern day sword is? There will be people going house to house, searching for people and resources. They will search your house with the sword. Now, look at the way that the earth is setting this entire thing up, right? They want to take guns. They want to take people's guns. Now, you would stand to believe that it would be who that would turn in their guns? The law-abiding citizens, right? The law-abiding citizens would turn in their guns, right? So who would be the ones who wouldn't turn in their guns? Police officers, the delinquents, the criminals of our society, right? So now we're living in a society where the armies are encamped around our cities. now I want to make this clear as well. How many of you know that people are being kicked, that brothers and sisters are being kicked out of their Section 8 housing and being forced to move back into lower income communities? How many of you knew that?
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're moving all of our people back into these communities. And what they're doing is the militaries are going to come in. They're going to remove all the guns and the militaries are going to come in. Who are going to be the only people with guns? The delinquents. The very people that would search people's houses with the sword. So they've taken the law-abiding citizens' weapons and have no way to defend themselves against those delinquents who kept theirs. But the Most High says, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left of them that search the houses with the sword. Left by them that search the houses with the sword. Even those people. Guess who these people are who are missed? The Most High is righteous. The Most High said, 10,000 shall fall at thy left hand and 1,000 at thy right, but no danger shall come nigh thee. They will just so happen to miss your door. They shall what? Pass over. The death angels shall pass over. Come on. They will search. If you're in an apartment building, if you're in a housing community, they're gonna search every house and just be like, all right, bro, we'll come back the next day and they'll miss your house. Read.
Verse 32. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through.
Grass and weeds will grow through the concrete. Vines will climb up the walls of the cities. Nature will begin to reclaim its own because the population is too small to make sure that everything's maintained. Y'all see movies like, you see shows like The Walking Dead, I Am Legend, all these post-apocalyptic movies, and you're like, that can never happen. Where do y'all think they get these ideas from? Y'all think the elite don't know what's going on? Y'all think the elite don't know what the Most High is going to do in these times? Trust me, they do, and they're showing it to you. Even in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search the houses with the sword. This is why Christ said to sell your garments and buy a sword. Why? Because in the last days, there will be a hunting of the righteous. Just like they did in the days of Noah, they will hunt the righteous down like animals. Ezra describes, he uses the analogy of the olives and the vineyard to use a phrase that we often use today called a needle in a haystack. Right? The harvester diligently searching and gleaning the vineyard, the orchard of the vineyard, is bound to miss a couple. It will be the same case in the last days, except those olives, those grapes are people. Armed looters will be searching for people and their possessions with the intention to murder and take their goods. The quality of the land will begin to deteriorate with no keepers, and the city streets will begin to crack and become obstructed with nature. Verse 33.
Verse 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. The wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed.
In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed. Have you guys noticed an inordinate amount of men signing up to go to the military? How many of y'all knew that the government is offering money for those for men to enlist? $22,000 to enlist in the military. Now you know why there's going to be a shortage of men. The last time something like this happened, look back to World War II. There was a draft. Now this is why the scriptures say that 7 women shall cleave to one man. It has nothing to do with marriage. It has to do with the fact that there are going to be men searching houses with guns, looking for food, and these women have no protection. Check this out. But what also shall happen to their husbands? They shall die in the wars. And what?
And their husbands shall perish of famine.
The men perish of famine trying to feed their families. They choose to feed their families instead of eating themselves, and they die of famine. This is why when we look at 70 AD, there was Josephus wrote of a woman who had to eat her child. Where was her husband? He had already died to the famine. This is what Deuteronomy 28 was talking about, where it says they shall consume the fruits of their bodies. You shall consume the fruit of thy body. Like I said, people don't understand the seriousness of the time that we're entering into. Verse 35, read.
Verse 35, hear now these things and understand them,
Mm-hmm.
ye servants of the Lord.
Ye servants of the Lord. What did he say? Read.
Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods whom the Lord spake.
Here's how we escape. We serve the Most High and no other God. Believe not the gods whom the Lord spake. Believe, behold the Most High's word and receive it not. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Verse 37, what does it say next?
Verse 37, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack.
The plagues draw nigh. What? The sicknesses, the diseases, they draw nigh and they are not slack. What does that mean? Read.
As when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment.
So the closer you get to the birth, the contractions happen. And the closer you get to delivering the child, the time between contractions becomes smaller and smaller until there is no time in between. This is what the Most High is talking about. The closer it gets to the times, there will be no rest in between. It says that the plagues draw nigh and they are not slack. Boom, 1 minute. Boom, half a minute. Boom, 15 seconds. Boom, it's time to bring forth that child. So for anybody who thinks the closer we get to the end, it comes without pain, please. These last days are like a woman in the 9th month, travailing with child. Read.
Verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrows shall come upon it on every side.
What shall befall the earth will befall the entire earth. It will befall the entire earth. The pain of those last days is no different. Is no different than giving birth. The entire earth will be subject to them, as we highlighted in 2 Baruch in the previous lesson. Let's get 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
Concerning his promise. What did I say? The Most High's word does not come back void. Read.
As some men count slackness.
We can take our time. We're good. We have time. Read.
But it's long suffering to usward.
It's long suffering to usward. See, the problem is that we view these last days, we view these times as, we got plenty of time to the end. That's the way we view this. We have plenty of time to the end. Not realizing or saying that the end won't come. We say the end won't come. Why is the Most High waiting so long? Why do we have so much time? Not realizing that we should be thanking the Most High in Christ for tarrying. There's still more work to do. there's still more work to do. Some men count for slackness. It says the Lord is not slack concerning his promise. Most I say, listen, everything according to my time. But men get complacent. We get complacent when we see, it's taking so long. We could be another 10 years. We could be another 20 years. And you get complacent. You sit back and say, he's never going to come and redeem his people. Not understanding that Christ tarries. That's a blessing. Christ tarrying is a blessing. The good example is the example of the 10 virgins, the 5 wise and the 5 foolish. See, he said, listen, here's your oil. I'll be back. And the 5 foolish said, he ain't never coming back. And they used up all their oil. And the 5 wise, they were smart with the way that they used their oil. So when it was time, when the bridegroom sent for them, they had oil to make their journey. But when he came back and the 5 foolish were gone trying to buy their oil, they got left by. They said, hey, come on now. What? And he said, I never knew you. They forgot him. They forgot his promise. The bridegroom said he was going to be back. They forgot that promise. Read.
I want to start from the beginning. Mm-hmm. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward.
This is for us, read.
Not willing that any should perish.
That any should perish. The Most High doesn't want anyone to die. That's why he gives us time. But what, read?
But that all should come to repentance.
But that all should come to repentance. Long suffering, Christ tarrying, that's a blessing from the Most High. He doesn't want anyone to perish. So saying that the Most High doesn't desire death is correct. But saying that the Most High won't inflict death is false. Verse 10.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great voice, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up.
And the works that are therein shall be burnt up. He will bring judgment. But understand, the Most High's ways are not our ways, and our ways are not the Most High's ways. Christ doesn't even know when the Most High is going to send him to crack that atmosphere. Come on. So who are we to expect the Most High to work in our time? Listen, the Most High could crack this earth in half with a word. All of creation is subject to him. Nothing that is within you does not belong to him. All your thoughts belong to him. Shoot, you take a dump, that belongs to him. Because guess what? He created you. And to think that you have so much pride as to think that you can control when he brings forth his prophecy is foolish. That's why scriptures say pride goes before the fall. Don't be prideful enough as to believe that the Most High is subject to your time. Men slack. The Most High does not. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 40. What's up?
Oh, 1 second.
Okay. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. Actually, we're at the halfway point, so we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. All right, everybody, one moment. We'll be right back.
Amina, that she called to be exact. Hey, see how y'all rock this. Sunny weather, cruising down the block.
Mind free, I ain't worried about the clock. Thank my father for the blessings, man, they flowing non-stop. Catch me riding through the east side to the hilltop. In the past, I was worried about the wrong thing. Getting fresh, stay faded, couldn't see the change. Had my mind so gone, couldn't feel the pain. Had to humble down to the Father just to see change. Now bounce to the left, bounce to the right. Every day I try my best just to duplicate Christ, but the way it's set up, I can never reach the height. Gotta keep working, trying to make it in the book of life. Positive speech on my tongue now, trying to spread God's word to the whole town. I ain't perfect, I'm just trying to put in work. Doing like a higher told me, getting ready for the countdown.
Show me guidance, repentance, forgiveness, and what's right. He showed me life, He gave me life, abundant life. And despite of what people think, You've been so good for me.
All praise to the Father. Come on, loud, head out, watch out now. It's the meaning coming to you with that West Coast style. I'm just trying to use the gifts that I'm blessed with, telling the good news of Christ, I gotta shout it. Too much time being wasted on the streets, couldn't hear the Father's voice, it was too much noise. Now that I look into the book that He gave to me, can't let the adversary steal my joy. That's why I bounce to the front, bounce to the back. Call the fam, get together, have a righteous kickback. I ain't worried about a thing, cause I higher got my back. The way it slap, finna put this truth music on the map. I see all the drama that I've been through, even notice all the friends that had it too. It ain't my fault I found that I'm a real Jew, trying to follow the actions of Christ, that's a breakthrough.
He showed me guidance, repentance, forgiveness, and what's right. He showed me life, He gave me life, abundant life. And despite of what people think, You've been so good for me.
All praise to the Father. Come on.
The light that shines through all it, to gather us to be as one. Ain't got no time for the pain, gotta find other ways. Just be to relax and party. He showed me guidance, repentance, forgiveness, and what's right. He showed me life, He gave me life, abundant life. And despite of what people think, You've been so good for me.
Yeah. Hear me out. Black man, black woman, know that you are heaven sent. God blessed you with melanin, that's quite an embellishment. Every time I look at you, I see excellence. Praise the higher for being such a perfectionist. You've been told your whole life that you were ugly, huh? By the ugly ones, they just jealous, pissed cause they ain't got your genetics. They spend thousands to have your features and they still look pathetic. Damn. In every black neighborhood, there's a liquor store. I wonder who put them there and what they did it for. They know that alcohol is detrimental to your body. Once consumed, it destroys your mental. They want for you to indulge in these substances, and by they, I'm referring to your government. Now we take the word government, you will find that government's control and it means the mind. They want us to operate in our lowest nature. They were successful, but God sent me to elevate you. I just want us to get back to what we used to be. Kings and queens, know that you are royalty. You claim to be African, you claim to be Indian. None of that really matters, cause all of us are indigenous. Know your worth. You the salt of the earth, but somewhere in time we lost our flavor. Disconnected from nature and all the aspects of it. It's been demonized, and we've been programmed to believe it. I broke away from religion, and I'm so glad that I did it, cause shortly after that's when I started to realize that this guy we've been seeking out the whole time is dwelling deep on the inside of each and every one of our temples. I meant bodies. You no longer need to see the truth because I just dropped it. Real talk. Now this is where I step away, take a break, find a quiet place to meditate, relax my flesh as my mind begins to elevate. Raising my consciousness to a higher state, creating true equilibrium, synchronizing the two left and right hemispheres of my encephalon. The work is done, I'm illuminated. Now carry on.
Look, a female dog for the black woman, I'll never utter. Butter pecan brown, smelling like cocoa butter. When you nappy, I'm happy, I see a flawless cover. Glory on your head, your hair rise high to the Lord above us. Stay kinky, I love you blacker than Danny Glover. No cap and caramel and every other color. Everything noir, everything murder. Everything you touch is golden. Wherever you are, that's why they emulate your stilo. Emulate the lingo. Imitate your body and courage, but let them be though. Cause it must be hard walking around flat as a backboard and wishing that they had shaped like a letter B though. A carbon copy's not the original. Black man, first man, fresh up out the kiln. He made you and gave you dominion over them. So when you seeing us, you looking at the creme de la creme. Big facts, who you know that can recline way back and grip the wheel on the lack and thump the woofers in the back. That's a black man, make it look cooler than ice packs, man. We the salt of the earth, what you expect? Put some respect on it.
All right. We are back. So once again, we'd like to remind everybody to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Right now we have a couple of. Go ahead. Make sure everybody's hitting that like button. All right. So far, we're gonna get back to where we were. I believe it's 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 40 to continue where we were going. Right. So let's go ahead. Ezekiel, 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 40.
2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
O my people, hear my word.
Oh, my people, hear my word. Read.
Make you ready to the battle.
Make you ready to the what?
The battle.
To thy what?
Battle.
It says, make you ready to your battle. Not make you ready for the rapture.
The battle.
Make you ready for thy battle. Not just a battle in the physical, but your battle in the spiritual as well. Hear my word, O my people. Make you ready to thy battle. Read.
And in those evils, be as pilgrims upon the earth.
And in those evils, be as pilgrims upon the earth. Why is this important? We're about to see in the scripture why being as pilgrims on the earth is so important. Because a lot of people just means, that means that we need to be ready to move one place to the other. Yeah, that's true, but it's a little bit deeper than that. And Ezra is going to explain it. Read.
Verse 41. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away.
He that selleth, let him be as him that fleeth away. Read.
And he that buyeth, as he that will lose.
And he that buyeth, as he that will lose. This is the mind of a pilgrim. Read.
42. He that occupieth merchandise, as he that hath no profit buyeth.
Buying something, he that purchased something or occupieth merchandise, as he that will have no profit buy it. You gain nothing out of it. Read.
And he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein.
And he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwelleth therein. Read.
Verse 43. He that soweth, as he that should not reap.
Mm-hmm.
So also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather the grapes.
See, being a pilgrim isn't just something that you do. It's a mindset that you have. It's the relationship that you have with things and with people. A pilgrim has no attachment. It says, he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein. Don't allow your house to become your tomb. I'm going to say that again. Don't allow your house to become your tomb. Read.
Verse 44. They that marry, as they that shall get no children.
Mm-hmm.
And they that marry not, as widowers.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 45. And therefore they that labor in vain.
If your labor, your work that you're doing on this side is worthless. I'm going to say that again. All that you are working for now, that house, that car, that job, it's all worthless. Pilgrims don't care. Pilgrims know that when the time comes, I need to be ready to leave everything that I built here and get somewhere else and build again. When you build that house, that dream house that you've been wanting to build forever, understand, you might not ever live in it. Understand, when you plant that garden or that vineyard that you create, understand, you may never reap the benefits of it. Understand, that you may marry, but never have the opportunity to bear children. Understand that those who are not married may never have the opportunity to marry. Don't allow your plans on this side, your desires on this side, what you would like to build on this side, to be the death of you. Don't allow your house to become your tomb. I've been working so hard to build. I put all my time into building, to get this job and to build this house. I can't leave. You see the cities compassed with armies. You know the desolation thereof is nigh. But you look at it and say, I worked so hard to get this job. I worked so hard to build this house. I can't just leave it. I can't just get up and walk away from it. And it's with that job, and it's with that house that you will die. And there will be nothing for you on the other side. Pilgrim is not just something that you do. It's a mindset. It's a relationship to the things that you have and the people around you. A pilgrim is prepared to walk away, even if no one will walk with them. A pilgrim is prepared to walk away, even if that means leaving everything that he has behind. Therefore, they that labor in vain. Understand that everything that you do, everything that you work for on this side, you may never reap the benefits of it. Oh, I worked so hard. I did everything that I could to get this, and I have to walk away from it. Listen, you may be leaving that day, and you see the first bulb for that tree the first apple. I have to wait to get the rest of the apples because there's a famine happening. You better leave. The pilgrim says, you know what? I didn't get the opportunity. Maybe somebody else will be blessed by it. But I'm being led by the Holy Spirit to walk away from this. So I'm going to walk away. Prepare to defend against all the things aforesaid. Hear my people. Hear the word of the Most High. Prepare you for thy battle. Understand, that's not just a physical battle, that's an internal battle. When you work so hard to build something on this side and understand that you have to walk away from it, that's a battle. That's a battle. To defend what you created, that's a battle. Why do those who labor in this time labor in vain? Verse 46.
Verse 46, for strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses and take their children captive. For the captivity and famine for in captivity and famine shall they get children. Verse 47, and they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons. The more will I be angry with them for their sins, saith the Lord.
This is no different than what the Gentiles did when they took Israel. They walked into our cities. They took our silver and our gold. They ate from our vineyards. But through our fall, the rest of the earth became rich. And the Most High grew angry because they put our silver and our gold in their treasuries. They wore our clothing. They used our buildings. They used our synagogues. It's no different than now. You plant a vineyard, the strangers will reap the fruits. You decide make this huge compound. You got a whole garden and everything in there. You got a house in there that you built. The Spirit tells you to leave and you stay. Someone comes in, they take the fruit. They spoil your goods, overthrow your house. They kick you out of it, take your children captive. That's the time that we're going into. You have to be as a pilgrim. ready to leave when the Most High tells you to move. They that labor, labor in vain. Know that that very thing that you hope to gain, that very thing that you hope to keep, you will lose. We have to move as the Spirit leads. Verse 70.
Verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
What is an insurrection? A violent uprising. An insurrection is a violent uprising. It says, in every place and in the cities there shall be a great and violent uprising upon those that fear the Lord. You know what to expect. Christ says, as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. No different. In the days of Noah, they hunted the righteous. In today's time, before Christ's coming, they will hunt the righteous. Read.
Verse 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord.
They shall be like madmen, sparing none, spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. They will not only destroy you, but they will take everything that you have. Read.
Verse 72. They shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then they shall be known who are my chosen. And they shall be tried as gold in the fire.
Remember how I said that if you possess the Spirit of Christ, you can't hide? It's impossible to blend in. That's why he says, then shall they be known who are my chosen. Then they shall be known who are my chosen. Understand, you can't hide in this time. If you're blending in, you can't possess the Spirit of Christ, because the Spirit of Christ is against everything that this world stands for. If you're able to fit in, you don't possess that spirit, because that spirit is evident. It comes off of you. People feel it. They shall be tried as gold in fire. Read.
Hear, O my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand.
The days of trouble are at hand. Read.
But I will deliver you from the same.
I will deliver you from the same. That's called faith. When you see everything in your life falling apart around you, how much faith do you have? Do you believe that the Most High will keep his promise? Because some people who are watching this don't even believe that this time is going to come. Some people don't even believe that any of this is going to happen. You don't even have belief enough or faith enough to know what the Most High promised he was going to bring. So how can you have enough faith to believe that he'll deliver you from these things? Faith. Read.
Verse 75. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt.
Be not afraid, neither doubt. The Most High has not given us a spirit of fear. If you fear, you have no faith. Fear is evident by lack of faith. Be ye neither afraid nor doubt. Why? Read.
For God is your guide.
For God is your guide. See, a guide can only show you where to go. He can't force you to go there. You got to be willing to follow to be delivered. The Most High said, "Get ye up out of the land, flee ye Babylon, to leave Babylon." That's your first mission. He told you to leave. If you don't leave, that's not on him. He guided you. You didn't listen. He sent forth his word. You did not listen. God is your guide. And if you're moving without the guidance of the Most High, you are just going to flee a lion and run into a bear. Go from one bad situation into a worse one. Read.
Verse 76. And the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts.
Oh, but we aren't supposed to keep the laws, commandments anymore. That's done away with. There's no profit to keeping the laws and commandments. There's no profit to circumcision. There's no profit to eating a clean diet. There's no profit to baptism. There's no profit to keeping the feast days. Read 76 again, Elder Thawada.
And the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts.
He is the guide of them that keep his commandments and precepts. If you are not keeping his commandments and his precepts to the best of your knowledge, you are not being guided by the Most High. Bottom line. And that's not thus saith Bishop Todd. That's not thus saith Elder Nathaniel. That's not thus saith the House of Judah International Fellowship Church. That's thus saith who?
The Most High.
Thus saith the Most High. Read.
Let not your sins weigh you down.
Let not your sins weigh you down. Read.
And let not your iniquities lift up themselves.
Let not your iniquities lift up themselves. If you made a mistake, own up to it, let it go. Keep moving. Don't let them weigh you down. And don't allow your iniquities to rise up. Don't allow things that you battled or struggled with in the past to come back and destroy you in this time. There will be a violent uprising against God's people all over the earth. The struggles will befall those who are his righteous. It is by our faith, keeping his laws, commandments, and precepts that we'll be guided by the Most High. Those who are bound and overcome by their sins will be destroyed. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 16.
Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men.
What is sedition? Read.
And invading one another.
And invading one another. People will be pillaging one another. Read.
They shall not regard their kings or princes.
Rank does not matter. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter where you are. Sedition is the conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against authority or state or a monarch. Let me say that again. Sedition is the conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority or state or monarch. Read verse 16 again, Thawada.
Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading of one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes.
How many people in here have seen The Purge? Did anybody see the last movie, The Forever Purge, where people decided, you know what? It's about time that we get the government is forcing us to do this purge. How about we make one that doesn't end? And you know what? Rank does not matter. We can go after anybody. And what happened to the cities? The cities burned. Populations cut down. Going door to door looking for people to murder. Looks a lot like this, doesn't it? They put it in movies. There will be a rebellion amongst men, invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings or princes. No one is safe. Read.
And the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17. And man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Verse 18.
Sound familiar? Anybody ever heard of 70 AD in Masada? What happened to Jerusalem? Where the Romans encamped themselves around Jerusalem so that no man could go in or out, go city to city. They're saying the same thing would happen again. You shall desire to go from one city to another, and you will not be able. Read.
Verse 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled.
Because of their what?
Their pride.
What month are we in right now? Because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. Read.
Back up a little bit. Oh, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Now, there's a lot of levels to this Pride Month situation. Would you call it pride? That these people know that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed? That it's because of their account that the flood came? And they would take the Most High's sign of their destruction and wave it in front of people and say, I dare you to do it again. Does that sound like pride? So why do you think that they call it Pride Month? Didn't think about that, did you? That's pride. It says, on account of their pride, their city shall be troubled. These people think God cannot touch us. I dare you, is what they're saying to the Most High. Pride. No, everything's going to go back to normal. The Most High isn't judging anything. Pride. Pride goeth before destruction. Because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Read.
Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. Because of the lack of bread.
Because of what?
The lack of bread.
Because of the what?
The lack of bread.
Because of the famine. Read.
And for great tribulation.
And for great tribulation. See, a man is going to think like this. Listen, I need to feed my family. I care about my family more than I care about yours, or yours. So I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to go up in here and I'm going to take that food. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, and shall destroy their houses with the sword, spoil their goods because of what? He shall spoil their goods because of what?
The lack of bread and great tribulation.
Because of the famine and great tribulation. Can you guys believe we see it happening now. We seeing people, hey, listen, we saw people just not too long ago fading each other for chicken sandwiches and Jordans. And y'all really think when there's no food? Listen, we saw the Philadelphia Eagles fans burn down their city because they were excited that they won. Had nothing to do with anything. And you really think that in a famine, when there's a lack of bread and people's lives are on the line, that worse won't happen? People. Luke 21:10.
Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation.
Nation shall rise against nation.
And kingdom against kingdom.
And kingdom against kingdom.
And great earthquakes in diverse places, and famines and pestilences.
Pestilence is plague, disease. Read.
And fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. But before all these things, they shall lay their hands on you.
They shall do what?
Lay their hands on you.
They shall what?
Lay their hands on you.
Why do you think Christ said, sell your garment and buy a sword? They shall lay their hands on you, what?
And persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons.
And into prisons. Read.
Being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
For whose name's sake?
My name's sake.
For whose name's sake?
My name's sake.
For the Most High and Christ's name's sake. And they shall say what?
And they shall turn to you for a testimony.
Defend yourself. Speak for yourself. Christ, when he was brought before Pilate, he said nothing. Christ didn't defend himself in any way. And still Pilate said, this man is not guilty. I don't see anything. I don't see that he did anything. He's innocent. But I'm washing my hands of this. I'm not going to be responsible for the murder of an innocent man. But why does it says, and it shall turn to you for a testimony. But what? Read verse 14.
Verse 14. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what you shall answer.
It doesn't matter what you answer. It doesn't matter what you answer. You don't need to think about what you need to say to defend yourself. It says, settle it in your heart, not to meditate before what you shall answer. Practice now. People will accuse you. People will lie on you. People will come to their conclusions concerning you. You have no need to defend yourself. You don't need to speak for yourself. Don't think about what you need to speak for yourself. What'll happen? Read.
Verse 15. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom.
He will give you a mouth and wisdom. What? Read.
Which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist.
Christ will speak for you. Your works will speak for you. There's no need to meditate or struggle on what you're going to say to defend yourself against those who lie on you. For those who bear false witness against you. Christ will give you the words of wisdom to speak so that no one can come against you. Practice now. Practice faith now. So when those times come in the end, you'll be prepared. We are witnessing this time. The famines, the plagues, the wars, and rumors of wars. We just seen a couple of days ago China showing their military might in Taiwan. Iran creating alliances within the Middle East and civil unrest within Babylon itself. There have been reports of exorbitant amounts of cattle dying, egg factories and farms burning, fresh water being contaminated, all echoing what Ezra stated in 2nd Esdras and what Christ stated in Matthew chapter 24 and here in Luke chapter 21. The Most High's word does not come back void, people. Christ echoes the insurrection that would take place against those who believe and follow him. In these instances, we will be asked to defend ourselves. Speak for those who accuse you. To give a testimony. And it will be Christ who will speak through us on our behalf to defend us. Who will be the they that will lay hands on us? It says they shall lay their hands on you. Who is the they? Let's get verse 16.
Verse 16. And they shall be betrayed by parents.
By who?
By parents.
Read.
And brethren.
By brethren.
And kinfolk.
And kinfolks. Read.
And friends.
And friends. It'll be people who you thought were with you that will be the ones dragging you before your leaders to be persecuted. It will be they who lie on you. It will be your parents, your friends, people who you thought were brothers, your kinsfolk, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your friends will be the ones that lie on you. They will be the ones to seek to have you go before the governments for death. We call it a Judas. Read that again, verse 16.
Verse 16. And ye shall be betrayed by parents.
By parents.
By brethren.
By brethren.
Kinfolks.
Kinsfolks.
And friends.
And friends. Take inventory. Don't ignore the flags. People will show you who they are. Take inventory now. Because if you don't, understand, it will come back. It shall be they, and ye shall be betrayed by both by thy parents, brethren, kinsfolks, and friends. No one is an exception to this prophecy. Why will you be hated? Verse 17. Oh, wait, finish verse 16.
And some of you shall they cause to be put to death.
And Christ is speaking to his disciples here. He says, and some of you, they shall cause to be put to death. These people in your circles that you don't take inventory of could be the death of you. They could be the death of you. Now you're seeing it in these small matters. It's in the small matters where the Most High is trying to show you, hey, mark that. Pay attention to that. It's small, but pay attention to it. Because if you don't now, it's gonna put you to death later. And people think that it's a small thing. Oh man, I don't think that this could get me killed. I don't think that could get me killed. I don't think it was an innocent mistake for her. It was her intentions were clean. Believe me, a person could have you put to death with good intentions. I didn't know that they were going to kill him. I thought that they were in a cult. I thought that they were terrorists. I was just trying to get them out of it. And it's on their cause, through their good intentions, that you were put to death. Take inventory. Take inventory. And even if that person is right in those small situations, how they handle it is important. Are they operating according to Christ, or are they allowing themselves to be used by the enemy? Take inventory of that. Why? Because even if they have good intentions, even if they are dead right, it could be that gets you put to death. Cities have fallen behind good intentions. Men have died behind good intentions. And some for you shall they cause to be put to death. Read.
Verse 17. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
Why are you angry for being hated? That's a good thing. The scriptures, hey, listen, if you're fitting in, you don't possess Christ. Ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Read.
Verse 18. But there shall not a hair of your head perish.
That's why he said not to fear. Not even a hair of your head will perish. Even in these times, understand, for those who keep the commandments of the Most High, there's something called a hedge over you and your family. Not even a hair of your head shall perish, no matter how close the enemy comes. The enemy, that death angel, will pass over. The word of God will be illegal, and we will be hated on account of the ministry. I'll say that again. The Bible will be illegal. The word will be illegal. Verse 19.
Verse 19. In your patience, possess your souls.
In your patience, possess ye your souls. Now keep in mind, he's telling us how to make it through these times. He's giving us the blueprint. He says, in your patience possess ye your souls. What does that mean? Read.
Verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
See, a lot of people are saying the cities compassed with armies, and they're saying, we gotta go. It's here. It says, no. When you see the cities compassed with armies, know that the desolation thereof is near, not here. That means that you need to kick it into gear. Remember, when the cities were compassed with the Roman armies in 70 AD, they didn't invade right away. They encamped. They encamped. It says, when you shall see Judah compassed with armies, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near. It's coming. That's why it says, in patience possess ye your souls. In patience possess ye your souls. Use wisdom. The Most High is your guide. He will tell you when to move. But you have to have patience in order to do that. You're going to see things begin to happen, and the Most High is like, don't move yet. Things are going to continue to happen. The Most High is going to be like, don't move yet. Why? Because you'll flee a lion and run into a bear. In patience possess ye your souls. Wait until I tell you to move. The scriptures say, woe unto them who have lost patience. In patience possess ye your souls. And what is patience? And to have patience requires what? Faith. That the Most High will guide you. Read.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of the city depart out.
Why is he telling them to leave? Why is he telling them to leave the city? When they're beginning to see the armies. Saying, listen, get your stuff together and be prepared to run. Let our they which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. Read.
And let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
Stay out. Why is he telling them not to go in? Read.
22. These be the days of vengeance, and all things which are written may be fulfilled.
These are the days of vengeance. Zephaniah, there's a book over there called The Annals of Rome. It's a smaller book. You should see it. It's black and burgundy. I want you to bring that to me. Christ says, when you begin, it's on the second shelf, you will begin to see the military gearing up to destroy us. Christ didn't say they would attack immediately, but rather that the desolation of Nile was getting closer. Let's get Luke chapter 19, verse 41. Why is he telling them, if you're not in the city, stay out. If you're in Judea, flee into the mountains. And if you are in the midst of it, get out. Why is he saying that? Luke chapter 19, verse 41.
We didn't finish 22, so let's move on.
Yeah, go ahead and read verse 22 and we'll jump to the next one.
Verse 22. Oh, we did get that.
Yeah, we did. We got it. Yeah.
Okay. Luke 19 and 41.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it.
Christ sees the city. When he came close to the city of Jerusalem, he began to weep. He began to cry. Why? Read.
Verse 42. Saying, if thou hast known, even thou, at least in this day, the things which belong unto thy peace.
He's saying, if only you see what I see. If only you could see what I see right now. Christ, the Most High was showing Christ something in this moment. The Most High was showing Christ something. He was showing Christ something. He's showing Christ something here. He said, Christ is saying, I'm seeing something that you all can't see yet. The Most High is showing he's not showing him Jerusalem presently, he's showing him Jerusalem after an event. You see where the marker is? Start there, but now
they are hid from thine eyes.
You can't see what I see. They're hid from your eyes. Read.
For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemy shall cast a trench about thee and encompass thee round, and keep thee on every side.
And keep thee what?
Keep thee in on every side.
And keep thee in on every side. Christ is seeing something here. This is why he said, if you're in Jerusalem, get out. It's called the Annals of Rome. He says, if you're in Jerusalem, get out. It's a smaller book, black and burgundy on the second shelf. He's saying, if you're in Jerusalem, get out. Why? Because he revealed to them in a couple chapters earlier, he said, listen, the days shall come upon thee when thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee. They will trap you inside of the city. They will compass thee round and keep thee in on every side. Read.
And shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
You ignored all of the signs. I told you all of the signs. And because you ignored the signs, you were destroyed. No stone. Notice they entrenched around. They didn't attack. They entrenched around. And they waited. And they were patient until they were ready to destroy Jerusalem. It says, because you knew not the time of your visitation. Christ is seeing all of this happen before his eyes when he comes near to Jerusalem. He sees the trench cast about. He's seeing the destruction of the city. And he's like, you guys have no idea what's coming. What we'll find out is what took place in 70 AD with the Romans. They waited to invade. Why? Because the Romans, through studying us, through studying our people, they knew that if they trapped us inside, when food and water became scarce, we will begin to destroy each other. I'm going to say that again. The Romans studied us, and they knew that if they cast a trench and they waited for food and water to become scarce, we will begin to destroy each other for it. They're going to do the same thing today. We shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies flee into the mountains. It's a warning. When we go back to the book of Josephus and the Antiquity of the Jews, we see that his account of the events that took place at the fall of Jerusalem mirror that which Ezra spoke in chapters 13 and 15. This is the Annals of Rome, the Annals of Imperial Rome by Tacitus, right? It details everything that happened before and after 70 AD and what took place afterward. Go ahead and read Wars of the Jews, Josephus of the Wars of Jews, book 6, Salakia, part 1, chapter 1, part
1. Joseph of the Wars of the Jews, book 4, chapter 1, part 1.
Mm-hmm.
Thus did the miseries of Jerusalem grow worse and worse every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the seditions were still more irritated by the calamities they were under.
It says, the miseries of Jerusalem grew worse. They got worse and worse every day. What is the seditious? It mean, what did Ezra talk about? There will be a sedition? No regard for government. Read. And it says they were more irritated by the calamities they were under. Read.
Even while the famine preyed upon themselves, after it had preyed upon the people. And indeed, the multitude of carcasses that lay in heaps upon another was an horrible sight and produced a penestile stench, which was a hindrance to those that would have made sallies out of the city and fight the enemy.
So it says there was a multitude of carcasses. It says, even actually go back to even while the famine preyed upon themselves.
Even while the famine preyed upon themselves, after it had preyed upon the people.
It preyed upon the people. They begin to destroy each other on account of the famine. Read.
And indeed, the multitude of carcasses they lay in heaps, one upon another, was a horrible sight.
It was a horrible sight. There were dead bodies everywhere. And keep in mind, all the Romans had to do was make sure no one got out. A choke point. How many in here know what a choke point is? If you have an army of many or someone more powerful than you create a choke point. So that way you can get as few of them at one time as you can. So they encamped around the city of Jerusalem and made sure that as people tried to leave, they're only coming one at a time. You can battle Israel one at a time, but they knew they couldn't win if they fought them straight up. So they created choke points. If someone tried to escape, they were murdered. And while on the inside, chaos ensued. Dead bodies everywhere. Read.
A horrible sight, and produced
A pestilential
stench, which was a hindrance to those that would make sallies out the city and fight the enemy.
The stench was so bad, they couldn't fight. They would go to fight, and have you ever had something that smelled so bad your eyes get blurry and you're discombobulated, you get a headache? This is what these men are enduring when they try to fight back. That's how bad the stench of the carcasses were. Read.
But as those were to go in battle array, who had already been used to 10,000 murders and must thread upon those dead bodies as they marched along, so were not they terrified, nor did they pity men as they marched over them.
Look at that. They were walking over dead bodies with no conscience. No conscience. Think about that. Death is completely just shut out. Read.
Nor did they deem this affront offered to be the deceased to be any ill omen to themselves. But as they had their right hand already polluted with the murders of their own countrymen, and in that condition ran out to fight with foreigners, they seemed to me to have cast a reproach upon God himself, as if he were too slow in punishing them.
As he was too slow in punishing them. Remember how they said it's slack? Slack. Wow. It says, nor did they deem this affront offered the deceased to be any ill omen to themselves. It's like, listen, nothing, no evil is going to come upon us for this. They said, what more evil could come upon us? We've already murdered our own countrymen. And in that condition, they ran out to fight with the Romans. It says, they said God was too slow in punishing them. They went out to battle the Romans knowing that they would die. They would rather go and fight and die than to remain in the city. That's the mindset that they went out with. Read.
For the war was not now gone on with, as if they had any hope of victory. For they glorified after a brutish manner in the despair of deliverance they were already in. Now the Romans, although they were greatly distressed in getting together their materials, raised their banks in 1 and 20 days. After they had cut down all the trees that were in the country that adjoined to the city.
Notice what they're doing here. When the Romans came in, they cut down all the trees. They're preparing here. They had already geared it up. They were doing things already, but the people didn't see it. It's like, I wonder why they're cutting down all the trees that bear fruit out here. I wonder why they're giving us produce with no seeds. Nobody questioned anything. Read.
After they had cut down all the trees that were in the country that joined to the city, and that for 90 long roundabout, as I have already related. And truly the very view itself of the country was a melancholy thing. Okay. Salakia. For those places which were before adorned with trees and pleasant gardens were now become a desolate country everywhere.
It says the very view of the country, Jerusalem. Jerusalem was a beautiful place. It says that the very view of that country was a melancholy thing. It was just, it was a shell of what it once was. Not even a shell. It was unrecognizable. It says, and for those places that were before adorned with trees and pleasant gardens were now become a desolate country in every way. They came in and they took all of the notice what they're doing now, even in your cities. What are they doing? They're cutting down trees. And they're building what's? Housing communities. The more trees you cut down, where are you going to hide? Where can you hide? Where can you find food? They're doing it right in front of you and you don't even realize it. The same thing that happened here in Jerusalem that our people got caught up with in 70 AD, they're doing it here in Babylon and we don't even perceive it. No one notices over the last 15 years. Even the city that we're in now used to be all trees. This stuff wasn't here. I remember I used to drive through here to go to games. It was nothing here. It wasn't nothing to look at. It was just trees. Those trees are cut down now. Oh, but you think, it's because they're going to build the Walmart. They're building a Walgreens. No, they're building rations. They're taking away places to hide. They're taking away free places to find food. People. It says, and its trees were all cut down. Read.
Nor could any foreigner that had formerly seen Judea and the most beautiful suburbs of the city and now saw it as a desert.
They're like, dang, I'd seen Jerusalem before. This isn't what is this? What read, check this out.
But lament and mourn sadly at so great a change, for the war had laid all the signs of beauty quite waste.
Mm-hmm.
Nor if anyone that had known the place before had come on a sudden to it now, would have known it again.
Mm-hmm.
But though he were at the city itself, yet would have he inquired for it. Let me read that again.
Mm-hmm.
But though he were at the city itself, yet would he have inquired for it notwithstanding.
He said, for those who had seen Jerusalem before, if you made a journey to it, you would think that you missed it. Did I go too far? Do I have farther to go? Jerusalem is a lot farther than I thought it was. Meanwhile, you passed it. I thought Jerusalem was beautiful. You look at some of these cities that you go throughout the United States, throughout the daughter of Babylon. It's beautiful now. But you're going to come to it and be like, Lord have mercy, what happened? This is not the place that I remember. This is not the place that I remember. Let's go to same book, Josephus' War of the Jews, book 5, chapter 10, part 2.
Book 5, chapter 10, part 2. But as for the richer sort, it proved all one to them, whether they stayed in the city or attempted to get out of it, for they were equally destroyed in both cases.
It had whatever you had, whatever rank you had, whatever position you had, did not matter. It said if you were rich, whether you had stayed in the city or where you were trying to get out of it, you were destroyed all the same. Like, hey, I got the keys to my car. You can have it if you want. Nah, bro. We ain't looking for that. No, bro. We want you. We don't want what you got. We want you. Same thing as what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. Listen, Job said, "Listen, you can have my daughter." They said, "Nah, Job. We not Job. Lot." They said, "Nah, Lot. We don't want your daughters. We want them. And if you don't give us them, we're gonna take them and you too." And it's gonna be the same thing here. They're gonna be like, "Listen, bro, we don't want your car. We don't want your house. We came here for you." Read.
For every such person was put to death under this pretense
Mm.
that they were going to desert.
We did the work for the Romans. We destroyed ourselves. So by the time the Romans came in, they didn't need to look for anybody. It was like, hey, let's just count the dead. Like, hey, we're coming in to see who survived. I'm like, listen, the Romans knew. They said, like, let's just encamp around them, and they'll take care of themselves. They'll do all the work for us. Read.
But in reality, that the robbers might get what they had.
They said, everybody gets killed equally. But they will go to the rich on purpose and say, hey, yeah, let's just, if we can get them, I know they got something in their house. And if they don't have food in there, I know for a fact they got they got jewelry or something in there. Read.
The madness of the seditions did also increase, together with the famine, and both those miseries every day inflamed more and more.
It continued to get worse and worse. It never slacked. It never let up. It got worse and it got worse. But yet you're still going to have people in there thinking, it'll be over soon. The rapture hasn't come yet, so obviously we can't be in the end. One man hasn't rose up and said he's the Antichrist yet, so it can't be the end yet. It's all going to blow over and go back to normal. There's going to be those people, even in this time. Read.
For there was no corn which anywhere appeared publicly, but the robbers came running into and searched men's private houses, and then they found any, they tormented them.
Check this out. It says, but the robbers came running into, and they searched men's private houses. And if they found any, they tormented them. They tortured them. Why? Read.
Because they had denied they had any.
Because they denied they had any. So I know you lying to me. Where that meat on your bones come from? I've seen people who living in this famine right now. You don't look like that. You still got some meat on your bones. You still got your color. You ain't changing colors or nothing. You look strong. You look healthy, strong as an ox. You look, hey, you did try to keep me out before I came in here. So where the food at? Read.
And if they found none, they tormented them worse, because they supposed they had more carefully concealed it.
It's like, you're just good at hiding it. You're very great at this. But I bet you if I keep pressing, you're going to tell me where that food is. Read.
The indication they made us of whether they had any or not was taken from the bodies of these miserable wretches.
It says they determined whether you had food or not based off of the way that you looked. Read.
Which if they were in good case, they supposed they were in no want at all of food.
It was like, okay, well, hold up. You don't look like you need food right now, man. You look healthy. You look strong. They look at a picture. They walk into your house. They looking at your pictures. How long ago did you take this? A year ago? Yeah. You still look the same as you did in this picture. You still got your muscles and still got your color. Your hair ain't falling out. I mean, you look pretty good, brother. So where you hiding it? Where the food at? Read.
Nor do they think it proper to kill such.
Mm-hmm. It said, go ahead. It said,
right here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But if they were wasted away, they walked off without searching any farther.
If they were wasted away, if you were, it's like, oh, hold up, this joker look like he about to die right now. Just leave him alone. He gonna die anyway. Leave him. Read.
Nor do they think it proper to kill such as these.
So these people, check out the logic of these men. They murder men, women, and children. But man, it's not proper to kill somebody who's gonna die anyways. Think about the moral. There's no moral balance or understanding of these people. Thought they were doing something good by not killing this person. Read.
Because they saw they would die very soon themselves for want of food. Many there were indeed who sold that what they had for one measure. It was wheat if they were of rich sort, but barely if they were poorer.
Check this out. People were selling their houses for wheat. Hey, Chronic said in one of his songs, Ghetto People, he said, when you trade your Rolls Royce for a grain of rice, he said, then you'll realize that we're ghetto people. He was like, listen, bro, he was like, listen, we already do this. And y'all who are rich, you're going to be at our mercy when everything goes down. Read.
When these had so done, they shut themselves up in the inmost rooms of their houses and eat the corn they had gotten. Some did it without grinding it by reasons of extremities of the want they were in, and others baked bread of it.
Go ahead and drop down to 3.
Gotcha. 3. It was now a miserable case and a sight that would justly bring tears into our eyes, how men stood as to their food. While the more powerful had more than enough, and the weaker lamenting for want of it.
The powerful had more than enough food, while the weaker had nothing. Men were eating each other. Read.
But the famine was too hard for all the other passions, and it is destructive to nothing so much as modesty.
Drop down to insomuch.
Insomuch that children pulled their morsels that their fathers were eating out of their very mouths. And what was still more to be pitied, so did the mothers do as to their infants.
It says, insomuch that children pulled the very morsels that their fathers were eating out of their mouths. They were fighting each other for food. Like, hey, bro, listen, spit that out. Spit it out. And it says the mothers did so to their infants. Read.
And when those that were most dearest were perishing under their hands, they were not ashamed to take from them the very last drops that might preserve their lives. And while they eat after this manner, yet were they not concealed in so doing. But the seditions everywhere came upon them immediately and snatched away from them what they had gotten from others.
See, people don't understand what famine really means. People think famine, I eat every other day. No, famine is 2 weeks, 3 weeks without eating. Understand, brothers and sisters. This is what these people were enduring. This is what people will endure again. They had to eat each other. They resorted to eating one another. That's what famine does. But when you have a famine that's happening in a city that you're trapped in, best believe there's going to be chaos. That's why Christ said, hey, if you're in a city, get out. If you're thinking about going into the city, don't. Christ said, if you listen, I believe it was the Wisdom of Solomon, where he said, listen, if you are already out of the city, don't go back and return to get clothes. Stay out. Don't return back to get nothing. If you're out, stay out. Because eventually you won't be able to get back out again. Drop down to whereupon. Whereupon they break. Right here.
Okay.
Yep.
Whereupon they break open the doors and ran in and took pieces of what they were eating almost up out of their very throats, and this by force. The old men who held their food fast were beaten.
Mm-hmm.
And if the women hid what they had within their hands, their hair was torn for doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Nor was there any
Commiseration
shown either to the aged or to the infants. But they lifted up children from the ground as they hung upon the morsels they had gotten and shook them down upon the floor.
They would invade these houses and completely destroy these people. See, people don't understand. This is why we did the lesson today. Many people have an idea of what's going to go on in this time, but you have no real idea of what's going to be going on in this time. Christ was serious when he said, listen, I send you out now with person script, but if you have no sword, buy one. That's not saying reveal your sword to everybody. If everybody knows that you have a sword, what's the profit of it? People will prepare for you. Yeah, he was all on Instagram like, yeah, check this out. Y'all got this thing right here. Yeah, look. Stupid. Yeah, look at all this food I got stored up. Yeah, check this out, y'all. And somebody gonna be sitting there hungry thinking, oh shoot, bruh. Remember such and such? Remember he was on IG Live showing everybody? Bruh, he got food, bruh. Let's go get it. Showing all your thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers. Check out all this food I got, y'all. I promise you. Foolish. Christ said to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Nobody's saying that you should be an aggressor. But when it comes down to protecting you and your family, if they have a sword, if they have a weapon and you don't, you're finished. Listen, we know the Most High in Christ will protect us. How will he protect you? Christ said, remember, Samuel said, teach my hands to war, that I may break a bow of steel shall be broken within mine arms. Christ gives us the strength to defend ourselves. The Most High gives us the strength to defend ourselves, if necessary. And sometimes that death angel will just pass over. You don't know how he's going to work, but you need to be equipped. You need to be equipped. Ephesians chapter 6, we're closing it out. But actually drop down to 2 Corinthians. We're going to close it out.
Gotcha. 2 Corinthians 10.
One moment. 2 Corinthians chapter 10.
2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 6. For thou we walk in flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
We walk in flesh, but we do not war after the flesh. Understand, when we get in these times and you see a man come against you, understand you're not fighting that man. You're fighting the spirit behind that man. Read.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but the mighty through God to the pulling down of the strongholds.
The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. If we don't war after the flesh, then our weapons can't be of the flesh. But keep in mind, Christ did say, buy a sword. Our primary battle is in the spirit. But there's a physical battle as well. Read.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
To the obedience of Christ.
And having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled.
When your obedience is fulfilled. It is now known what we can be preparing, how we can prepare for these coming times, not only spiritually but physically as well. But we cannot prioritize the physical preparation over the spiritual preparation. That starts first with keeping the Most High's laws to the best of our ability and making sure that we are equipped to endure until Christ comes to bring his kingdom. There's a preparation that must happen. If you aren't keeping the laws of the Most High, if you aren't on the same space, in the same page of the Most High according to the Spirit, how can you be guided by the Spirit? If you're thinking carnally and you're preparing carnally, how can you be guided spiritually? Although the path is not clear, the path to the kingdom is set. Are you equipped to endure? That's the question that we ask at the end of this series. The path to the kingdom. Are you equipped to endure? Spiritually, we went over all of it, making sure that you take inventory of people who are around you and the purging of the rebels. We talked about what the wilderness is and how the wilderness will be. We talked about internal and external preparation. Are you equipped to endure? And if you are not equipped, get equipped. Let's go back up to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11.
Gotcha. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Remember what Christ said. Don't allow your sins to weigh you down. Read.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand.
Having done all to stand. Are you equipped to endure? That's the conclusion of the lesson, Elder.
Oh, all right. Shalom, family.
Shalom, shalom.
All right, just wanted to come before you all today. First of all, I want to thank you all for your support. And due to your support, this word is definitely spreading to the degree that now we need your further assistance. We're needing to get to the Philippines, Brazil, and Nigeria for baptisms. So we don't usually do this, but we're definitely soliciting your support today. So whatever you can donate to the Cash App above to help us accomplish this, to get to our brothers and sisters in these areas for these baptisms, it'll be much appreciated. Whatever you're able to do will definitely be a blessing.
And understand, these connections are what is going to carry us through these last days. I want to make that clear. The Most High says that we need to leave Babylon, right? Can't leave Babylon without assistance. And if you leave Babylon, you need to have connections where you're going. So understand, we have this ministry has stretched throughout the four corners of the earth, and us establishing these baptisms, establishing these churches through baptism. We now create connections. So when we do leave, we have a place to go, and we have things stored up when we get there. Right. So this is all a part of the mission, right? This is what Christ established. When people left Jerusalem, left their homes in Jerusalem, the churches were already established across the four corners of the earth. So when they left, they had places to go. Right. People think that when they fled into the mountains, when the children of Israel fled into the mountains in 70 AD, the mountains of Africa, that there weren't churches set up there already. There were churches in sub-Saharan Africa before we left to flee there. The ministry of Christ was already there. So this is a part of the work. This is a part of setting it up to where when these times happen, we have something established so our people are prepared. Right?
But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to put out there. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw it in the chat right here. Not a problem at all. Any questions concerning what I just announced or the lesson, throw it in the chat, and we'll address those questions now.
Do we have any questions?
Do we have any in the room? Any questions in the room? Questions, comments?
Anything that you learned new today? Anything that you didn't know? What's up? All praises. All praises.
I don't see anything here in the chat. Just in case you can't read the Cash App above, it's $HO Judah IFC. Okay. Thank you for your support.
All right. So if we have no more questions, no comments, and remember, you're always able to leave a comment to let us know if you have any questions later on, or you can reach out to the elder in specific on the website below. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Once again, all thanks and praise to the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya, Wa Rawak. Once again, thank you all for tuning in, and make sure you stay blessed, stay prayed up, and prepare to endure. Shalom.
Shalom.